weather station and just tuning up here, but I know, Chuck, that you're always up at Dark 30.
Yeah. Mike, you got a big signal in here this morning. Who was the other station that was trying to come in that I doubled up with? Go ahead.
Okay, guys, good morning. This is Steve, W6SSP, and WA7YDS.
My gosh, everybody's up at the crack of doom. It must be summer.
Okay, well, good morning, gentlemen. W6SSP, Steve, good morning, sir. And Henry, good morning there, bud, WA7YDS. Let's see, let me give you the rundown real quick here. In the number 1 spot, I've got Bob, W6AQU. He checked in a few minutes ago. And in the 2 spot, I've got Mike, W7MS. In the 3 spot, I've got Steve, W6SSP. And in the 4 spot is Henry, WA7YDS. So, boy, we're getting some people in here early. This is good. Is there anyone else that would like to just be an early check-in? If we can get a couple more, we'll go ahead and get the net started here in a minute or two. So, anybody like to be number 5? Come now.
W6JRY.
Okay, there's Jerry, W6JRY. Good morning, Jerry. I got you in the number 5 spot. And there was Bill. I heard Bill in there too, M6DCT. Bill, I got you in the number 6 spot. So, let's see, is there anybody else that would like to join us here in the Vintage Military Radio Net? Be number 7. Come now. Okay, well, I'll tell you what, we'll take about a 1-minute break here for those of you who would like to go get a second cup of coffee, and here in about a minute and a half or so, I'll go ahead and get the net started here. We've got, counting in, we got 7 people, so I'll be right back here in about 1 minute. I'm going to get me a drink myself, so when I get back, we'll start the net. So this is K0DWC. I'll be standing by and listening while I'm getting my drink, so if anybody wants to check in, go ahead and do so.
W6OPE.
Ah, there he is. Good morning, Tom, WA6OPE. Nice signal this morning, Tom, from the Bay Area. Coming in just fine in Dayton this morning. I've got you in the number 7 spot, sir. WA6OPE in the number 7 spot. Okay, well, good morning to all. This is a Vintage Military Radio Net. This is K0DWC. My name's Chuck, and I'll be your net control this morning. And we will be operating on 3.974 megacycles. Vintage Military Radio Net is a round-table AM net that provides an opportunity for licensed hands to operate their vintage military gear on the air. Military gear is encouraged, but certainly not items at the end of each roundtable session. So if anyone has anything for sale or want, please mention it during the roundtable session. So, right now, as we have it, the rundown is in the number 1 spot is Bob, W6AQU. In the 2 spot is Mike, W7MS. In the 3 spot is Steve, W6SSP. In the 4 spot is Henry, WA7YBS. In the 5 spot is Gary, W6JRY. In the 6th spot is Bill, N6BCT. And the number 7 spot is Tom, WA6OTE. So, anybody would like to be number 8 for the first round, Vintage Military Radio Net, come now. Okay, nothing heard. So, well, good morning again, gentlemen. Signals seem pretty good this morning. I switched the R390A to my loop, and seems like it's much better doing that. So I'm going to give that a try and see how that goes. So we're running the R390A this morning, and ART13, and 200 watts. Inverted V on the transmitter, like I said, looping on the receiver. So anyway, that's the rundown here. So we will hand it over to Bob, W6AQU in the group. This is K0DWC. Go ahead, Bob.
Very good, Chuck, and good morning. K0DWC. This is W6 Able Queen Uncle. Bob in Montague. CN81, I believe, is a grid number for today's event. Got cloudy skies. We had a tremendous lightning storm last night. Lasted for quite a while. And let's see, we're on a K368 this morning. Pass it on to the next station down there, Mike. We didn't hear you last week, I don't think. W7MS. W6AQU.
Well, thank you, Bob, and good morning to all the folks on frequency. W6AQU, W7MS, of course, Mike in Reno. And yes, I was enjoying breakfast with my daughter in observance of Father's Day, so I think I was probably in the shower during the net getting ready to hit the road to the Stonehouse in southwest Reno for breakfast. So that was a good Daddy's Day. But good conditions to the present. A little nuance of QSB, what's new, and we'll see how things evolve as the sun rises. But I was listening around 6, and some really bodacious sideband signals on 7.5 from Oregon and up north. But of course, fully realizing that things would change dramatically between then and now. But still hanging in there. So this morning running some newer equipment. And that's, of course, giving me a chance to demonstrate one of my Brad swap meet N7 RCA purchases, and that's the ITT Mackie MSR 8000 transceiver, a commercial military transceiver dating from the 80s up through the 90s when Mackie was closed down in North Carolina. And that's driving its companion solid-state amplifier, the MSR 1020. At about 250 watts of carrier here in the AME mode, so of course carrier and upper sideband, but that's the lowdown here, and we'll keep it rolling because propagation's going to be rolling, and W7MS 1D Nevada section. Over to Steve, W6SSP, W7MS.
Okay, thank you, Mike. SWR's kind of high. There it goes. Antenna switch is dirty again. Here we go. Anyway, this is Steve, just north of Santa Rosa, running Collins 32V1 transmitter and 75A1 receiver. with D104 mic into about about 30 feet up. And Mike, your top dog today with the newer stuff. Quite a bit of QSB on a number of stations, but Q5 copy software. And amazingly, the noise floor is relatively low today. Quite a change from the last couple of weeks. So we'll see how long that lasts. Thank you again for the I got that installed this past week. Found out what the problem was with the original one, which Henry might be interested in as well. It turns out the bearings were shot, I mean completely shot, and single turn auto-tune units. To the point that there was so much drag that when the motor turned the drive shaft on these things, arm drive, that the little pony gear that's on the standoff was chattering and actually ruined that gear, stripped that gear at least part way. So, but the new unit, Mike, that you provided with me after being cleaned up worked just beautifully. So now I have to read through Henry's comments and suggestions on how to synchronize it. I'll do this week's project. So over to Henry, YBS, W6 SSP.
Okay, Steve. W6 SSP. WA7 YBS. Okay. Good morning to all. Good signals all the way around. Q5 copy. Everybody's doing just fine at the moment. And we're receiving all of you on the British Raycal RA-17L Mark III. Our connection, our military connection. Of course, it's to the Royal Army, but that's okay. And the transmitter is the 32V3 Collins transmitter, 110 watts or so of carrier power. And the antenna is the collinear array. And we have to get another antenna up. I got the wire out. This is for the shop. I've been without an antenna out in the shop since New Year's Day. It was New Year's Eve. The big snowstorm took down both antennas. And so the collinear array, I've rearranged that to be the antenna for the upstairs station, which I'm in right now. But out in the shop, I've been without an antenna. So in the next week or so, there's going to be a 135-foot center fed dipole for the shop antenna. Got the wire, just got to have the ambition, have the feed line. I have everything. I just have to have the ambition to actually do the work. So anyway, that's what's going on here over in Jerry, W6 JRY, W7 YBS.
Okay, thank you, Henry. WH7 YBS and the group W6JRY. Good morning to all. Everybody's good copy here so far this morning. And morning to you, Chuck, Bob, Mike, Steve, Henry, Bill, and Tom so far. Copying everybody all okay here this morning. Sunny today, but I think some of the stuff that Bob mentioned might be moving this way. Weather predicted was possibly some thunder showers again, and I don't think it'll produce much of any showers, but seems like this has been one of the coolest or strange, well, it can't be strange because I know we've had this before, but June weather, but I think we're going to face summer with all of a sudden some 100-degree things that are coming up. Anyway, everybody's sounding good here. A little hard to tell who is top dog, but I think the ones with the power are kind of like that. And Mike, Bob, Henry, and so on like that. So anyway, let me pass it along. A little to talk about here, and a little rough week. In fact, after last nap, I ended up in the ER for a while, but kind of got that straightened out. But anyway, let me get it over to you there, Bill. N6BCT in the group, W6JRY.
Okay, turn it over to me, N6BCT, WA60PG. Well, good morning to everybody. Signals are not too bad. Clear to good, a little QSB here and there. Amazingly, my noise level is down from the usual roar, and the dull roar today. So, and we're still on the temporary antenna. We are on the usual rig. World War II U.S. Navy setup here with the PCM and an RBC. And lots of stuff going on, but not much radio stuff. So we are back at it again. And we are overwhelmed and buried by projects and things. So lots of stuff going on. So let's see, Andy was supposed to be here this morning. Maybe he'll show up also early in the morning. So back to net control, K0DWC, WA60PG.
Okay, Tom, WA60PE in the group, K0DWC. Well, very good. Okay, I had 100% copy on everybody. You know, I've got some QSB here too, but it's negligible. It's not really a problem right now. I'd hope it, it stays that way. But anyway, heard everybody, no problems. Just a little bit of QSB here and there, and that was it. So hopefully it'll stay locked in where it's at. I doubt it, but wishful thinking. Okay, very good. Well, I'll tell you what, let's see if there's anybody else that wants to check in here and be number 8. Give them a chance at the tail end of the first round here. I'd like to check in the Vintage Military Radio Net coming out. Okay, nothing heard. So, anyway, okay, fellas, that was a good first round there, and we'll kick it back up to the top here. Carla wanted me to tell you hello for everybody, and she's going to try and check in here in the future on the net. So anyway, I'll let Henry give the weather report. It's sunny and nice here, but I don't know what the temperatures are. But, Henry will know. But, anyway, okay. Well, not a whole lot going on here. Still working on the German torn receiver. Just doing small odds and ends on it to get the vibrator power supply going. The supply's doing fine. It's just a problem with the vibrators, but we've got that situation well in hand. So hopefully that'll be the end as far as the vibrators are concerned. So we're going from mechanical to circuit boards. So anyway, that's kind of what we're doing here. And I might be looking at getting my BC-191 back up and running. It's all there, all the cables and everything are there. All I got to do is hook everything up and check everything out. So, you know, I'm hopefully maybe within a month or so I'll have that on the air again. So I've been too chicken to put the VT4s in that thing because of the expense of it. So I'm finally overcoming that. So anyway, that's kind of what's happening here. So with that, we'll go ahead and we will send it back up to Bob for round number 2. So W6AQU in the group. This is K0DWC. Take it away, Bob.
Okay, Chuck. K0DWC in the group. W6 Able Queen Uncle. Here in Northern California, 8 miles from the border. Well, not a heck of a lot new except one building project. Not radio related, but we needed a storage shed for miscellaneous. So we purchased from Costco their 10 by 12 kit, a shed, which was delivered on a truck in a big bundle. So we've been putting that together. Finally got it done. Have the first coat of roofing on. Shingles to come. And it's been a lot of fun and headaches. Been working on it for quite a while. But that's going to enable us to store a whole bunch more stuff that we'll probably use someday. And one of the little garden mower. We have actually we have 3 mowers, but I have a new, brand new John Deere. I like to keep that inside and a bunch of other stuff. So that's about it all the way around. Bill, down there in Half Moon Bay, we were able to copy this morning. And I'm thinking the way the band is going to change quickly. Earlier this morning there was activity, like you mentioned, Chuck, because this is a field day weekend, and there was sideband activity up there on 7.5 and 7.6, I guess. But that's to be expected. There's a lot of field day activity going on. So over there to Reno. I wonder if you've heard from Ron. Did he make it over there on these 3 different voyages? W7MS, W6 Able Queen Uncle.
Well, that's a good opener, Bob. W6AQU in the group. The Vintage Military Net Sunday edition W7MS. Well, good reception from all, with the exception of Bill on 6BCT, but of course I know Henry heard him because he's working the controls there in a classic radio operator fashion. So we'll get the relay report on Bill. But good reception from all, and great. Chuck, thanks for running the net. And I'll start with you. Great on the Torn EB. It was great to see it at the swap, and you're overcoming your anxiety with the VT4Cs. Certainly understand, because that's basically probably part of your retirement fund based on the appreciation factor, and one doesn't even want to consider the full retail replacement costs. That's yeah, totally understand your reluctance. And Bob, fine on the weather. Forgot to comment on that. I think it's finally abating here. It was looking a little activity Friday, a few drops of rain. Yesterday, a little less. Just enough cumulus attraction there and some thunderheads to kind of thunderclouds to give you some anxiety, but I think we're moving out of that. So I guess in a way, looking forward to hearing everybody complaining about how hot it's going to be and how they're waiting for winter. But I'm looking forward to some 80s and 90s. That'll be nice. And great on the 10 by 12 shed. And yeah, you want to keep that new John Deere out of the sun. You want to keep that color scheme bright and shiny. And not to mention the investment in that machine. So congratulations on that. And Steve, well, you're very welcome. I was glad to pass that on. I think 3/4 of the junk I've got here, especially in the back shop garage, is awaiting someone's use. And you know, it's somewhat more motivation, but you want to save it from the dump. But ultimately, you look at it and kind of wonder, why do I have all this stuff? But it's always gratifying when something can be handed off to someone to provide some, completion or pieces to complete a project. So good on the auto tune. And yes, I did hear from Ron, and I think he probably, as he does, he doesn't blind copy everyone. I'm sure he sent various emails out, but I received one yesterday that I need to respond to, and he's facing some interesting challenges, and so it goes in the Azores. But I won't get into specifics. But he's got a full plate in several different areas. And Henry, I listened to the rerun on the military net here, courtesy of N9AMI, and I guess you inherited John's big transmitter from Mr. Atwood, so maybe that was a conversation that took place at Brad's, and if that is the case, as I thought I heard, congratulations on achieving that goal, since we had that conversation back in the day when it departed for Mr. Atwood's location. And Jerry, great to hear you. Usual top dog on the signal level meter. And Tom, great to have a lot of projects, probably in the area of projection and those activities with film, but not to mention the antenna. And mention the antenna, Henry's going to break out the motivation stick and get busy with the restoration of a suitable antenna to the shop area. Good on that. And let me see, one comment here on projects, which was interesting. This links back to the swap net at Brad's, but I picked up a TCS manual from Chuck McClurg's estate. And I looked at it, I said, I bet that's the one that I photocopied that Chuck loaned me 28 years ago. And I verified that this morning. I pulled out the photocopy. It said, yes, that is this one in the same manual. So I guess that goes to show that a lot of this collectible vintage equipment, we're custodians. We're not necessarily owners. We're just temporary custodians of the devices or the hardware. So over to you, Steve. W6SSP, W7MS.
Okay, thank you, Mike. W7MS, W6SSP. From one custodian to another. I guess that's what we all are. The biggest worry here is finding homes for this stuff after I'm gone. It'll take quite an effort to do that. Hopefully I'll be able to get rid of it all before that happens. But we shall see. Anyway, I've had quite a few things on the bench this week. AOT-13 basket case was only one of them. And a shout out to you, Mike, and the birthdays for helping me with parts on this thing. This AOT-13 was a real basket case. Several people looked at it and everybody passed on it, thinking there just wasn't enough there to make it work. It doesn't work electrically, but it works mechanically as well now, so thanks to you. Other things on the bench this week have been the TBX. First time I powered that up with bench supplies. And it's got a number of intermittent switches and a lot of devices, so didn't get very far on that. I'll put that back away, but it's in beautiful condition. Really nice transmitter receiver set. Also worked on the TCS 13 receiver. Still struggling with the BFO on that. Actually on both of them. I think I found out what the problem is. Solving it is going to be a real challenge. So that's put away until I get some more parts for that. And the other thing was the MB522A/GRC 106, which is the Teletech converter that goes with the GRC 106. Found a shortage capacitor in that, so that appears to be working now. The only thing I need to hook that up to the rest of the system is the cable. And interesting note on these is that the manuals are available, but no schematics. These were during that period where you swap modules, and no need to get into the guts of these things. So I'm a little stuck on that until I'm able to find a schematic or somebody to help me with what's in that cable. The other thing I've been working on this week is I ordered one of those little SBR single band CW transceiver kits. I was so impressed with this thing. A friend has one and let me use it for a couple of days. I was so impressed I ordered one, and I got that built this week, and so impressed with it. It's only about a 5-watt CW transmitter. Mine's on 20 meters. And it's about the size of a pack of cards. So works very well. Playing around with that, I feel very yesterday a little bit. And hopefully next year I'll go out in the boonies and try to fill this thing very well. So conditions are fading a little bit, and I've probably kept it too long. So we'll pass over to Henry. WA7YBS, W6SSP.
Okay, Steve. W6 SSP, WA7 YBS. Okay, 100% copy. Yeah, conditions are starkly different than last weekend. Last weekend was terrible. Yeah, it was just conditions were pretty bad. And this weekend they're pretty good. So that's great. Everybody's coming in Q5, no problem. And okay, on the ART13 module and all of that, synchronizing and stuff like that, I think the main gist of what I wrote on that was not to get all hung up on the crank. You don't need the crank for the main shaft, to move the main shaft to get everything synced. So your plans are apart at the same time, and get everything set up that way. And I just used a screwdriver blade bit in a Makita. Just hold it that way. And if you're careful, it works fine. Just make sure that the blade fits into the slot in the line shaft, and nice, and you won't have any problems. And so anyway, yeah, very good. Okay, temperature was 57 this morning. Sunny, probably going to be high 70s. Might probably here in Dayton, we'll probably make it to 80, maybe even 81 or 82. So yes, good. If we could just get rid of the gnats and the mosquitoes and all of those little pesky insects that want to go up your nose and in your ears and all of that stuff, it would be fine working outside. And so anyway, let's see, Mike. Yes, I am now in possession of John's big one, the W6 MIT 450 watt transmitter. Yes, 4-250A modulated by a pair of 572Bs. 20 microwatt volts on the plate of the 472. 4-250A. And so anyway, yeah, 4-250A level on that. And as usual with W6 MIT's work, it's just exquisite. It's professional. The unfortunate part is all of the audio chain is missing. I'm pretty sure that's why John, Mr. Atwood, there's WA1 ICI 107, really never did get the rig on the air, was because there's no audio chain. And John had he had a leveler and a processor and a 50 watt press monoblock amp, all in the audio chain to drive the high-powered modulator. And so anyway, I have a 25-watt ICO, Williamson Ultra Linear that I'm going to use. But the other stuff, I have a few things, but I'm still looking for, I actually have a board for the mic input and speech amp and stuff like that. I actually have the broadcast engineer's board from Carson City radio station KPTL. So I might use that. Well, we'll see. We're still working out what we're going to do for the audio chain on John's big rig. And I have to say one thing, that a trip to Mr. Atwood's QTH is well worth it. It is absolutely the most interesting QTH I've been to in a long time. It's a 1970s Nevada ranch style house. It is just ultra cool, and it's packed, and I mean literally packed, with lots and lots and lots of electronic stuff. Every room. So yeah, it was really interesting to go to his place and pick up the big rig. But anyway, there's one other thing that was missing from the stuff was the complete documentation. I have the essence, I have the necessities, but I don't have a lot of he had a whole book on the audio chain. I don't have that. And also his homebrew controller interface that went with the transmitter is also gone somewhere. It's not really all that exotic of a thing. It's just mainly relays and switches and stuff like that, so it's no big deal on that. But so anyway, yes, we're working. Looks like it's going to be a while before the big rig is on, but hey, 400 watts output, no problem. So anyway, that's a rundown on the W6MIT big rig. Over to Jerry, W6GRY. Hope it wasn't too serious there in the ER. You're back and sounding fine, so that's good. W6GRY, WA7YBS.
Okay, Henry, thank you. WA7YBS and the group W6JRY. Okay, still good copy, but kind of deep QSB coming in. I noticed that on the band here. Last weekend, typical summertime conditions. Although sometimes I wonder if things aren't a little bit improved with, I have a little theory on some of the condition situation when it seems like every weekend that they have a big contest, or like this weekend is field day, I guess. And it seems like maybe a day after that or more during that or something, conditions are generally seem to be good. So I'm wondering if it's all that RF out there with some extra ionization up in the layers up there that are improving conditions. Anyway, I don't know if that theory works at all or not, but it just seems like a coincidence that I've noticed when there's a mass amount of RF floating around for a contest or a field day or something of that nature, conditions seem to be better at that time. Chuck, okay, on your German radio project, and thanks for the photo a while back on that too, neat radio. Hope you get that all going. And Bob, good on your building project, the 10 by 12 building. I'm thinking it must be a wooden building, which is a good idea. I wouldn't think up at Montague where you probably get some snow up there, a little more than other places. You wouldn't want one of them 10 by 12 metal ones. Oh, and Chuck, or anybody else, talking about VT4Cs. I have some of those left over from getting rid of my 191, which I have no more. And so those are up for trade or whatever, if anybody's looking for some spares. And Mike, okay, on all your projects, thanks for the info on Ron. I haven't heard from him yet, but I probably will sometime when he gets situated to maybe get on the air or something. Maybe we'll have some contacts. Heard him several times last time he was over there. And Steve, it sounds like you got benches of projects and still very busy doing it. I have one project left that's sitting on the bench that I haven't got to, and some of you remember some of Bob Dennison back in the 1990s era. He was a very prolific contributor to electric radio with a lot of very nice projects. He's a really nice guy. Used to talk to him once in a while before he passed away. It's been a long time ago, but I think it's Lee and I's last project. We started it, quite a while ago, and it's just been sitting and kind of getting completed. About 99% completed, and I need to get the some calibration done on it. But anyway, it was one of his projects. I used to like, I duplicated it with some of my ideas and things like that of some of his projects way back when, and got a number of them from around here. I was really interested in some of the things he did. So, anyway, maybe I'll get this one last project finished up. But so Lee and I are in now. Well, I think our collaborated project days might be over. And Henry, okay on your new antenna ideas there are already ready there. Got the wire and ready to get up another antenna there for the shop out there. And Bill, we were copying you okay on that last one. And Tom, good signal so far, so we'll see how that goes. So, anyway, over to you, Bill, and I hope things are still holding in here. N6 BCT in the group, W6JRY.
Okay, N6BCT, WA6OTV. Yes, friends, the band is deteriorating. So, get out of here and talk to you all next week. Oh, I did want to make one comment to Jerry. Yeah, your signal holds up pretty good, Jerry. Probably the best. Lost Henry on the last. Anyway, I'll second the comments about Bob Dennis's project. Yeah, very nice work he did. Very beautiful stuff. Interesting project. And once again, thanks to Electric Radio on the last radio stuff today. So, lots of fun. 73, everybody. Back to Chuck. K0DWC, WA6OTV. Okay, Tom, 7-3's there, my friend. Thank you for being there, and hopefully we'll talk to you again this next coming weekend. So take care and have a good day and a good week ahead there, Tom. Okay, well, the band is starting to go, so I think we probably ought to go ahead and do a real quick 7-3 round and do that. So we'll go ahead and go and do a quick 7-3 round, and we'll send it back up to Bob, W6AQU, in the group K0DWC. 73 round, fellas.
Okay, Chuck. K0,
Trying to download my heavy stuff, but I passed on two RT-13. One was an AC so it was a turnkey operation with the but he has not come up on the air with it yet. And Brad, of course, got that the 3, the RT-13 that I've moved on here, in the last month or so. But I don't know if I'll get that anymore. I had a whole slug of them at one time. So hard to get the first one every time I had a chance to get another one. We do have some parts, but not many. Something like Chuck said something changes something. I don't know, the knob or whatever. Anyhow, Jerry.
Well, thanks, Bob, W6AQU, and the dwindling received signal level and the rising noise-to-signal ratio, W7MS. Well, still 100% copy on all except Bill, but things are rapidly deteriorating. But a few comments. Fine, Henry, on the elaboration on the MIT big rig. And sorry to hear about the not unexpected, the missing audio section. And of course the manuals and the documentation got tossed out, and I've got a story with the little modulation monitor that John had built. I think I actually rescued the manual out of the dumpster for that, the documentation. So that's, you know, the obvious answer as to what happened to it. I don't quite get the, you know, it wouldn't take any much more effort to shove the manual on a chassis and keep it with the device, but that's the prerogative of the seller, I guess. And Jerry, fine on the VT4Cs, and I'm glad you're doing well. Everything is okay, and if you're as robust as the signal from your location, you're doing quite well. And of course, Bill is still incommunicado. And Bob, yeah, I chuckled at your unloading turnkey. It's always good to unload a turnkey device, so congratulations on that. And the swap meet report, boy, I would think it would be the Reno operation that would schedule a swap meet coincident with the field day activities on the same weekend. But I guess maybe they share some management mystique there between Southern Oregon and Reno as far as planning these events. And Steve, great on the SDR and all the projects, and good, and enjoy timing. It's all a matter of timing, I guess, in that crank handle. And we'll continue further discussions on projects for another time, because as Chuck had mentioned, theoretically this is the short 73 round. So over to you, Steve. W6SSP, W7MS.
Good on the passing up on the two AOT-13s, one being a turnkey operation. Wow, that's a rare thing. I've had 3 of these over the years, never had any cables, never had any power supplies. Can only dream of getting the dynamo these days. They're so darn expensive and hard to find in any condition. So anyway, that's just the way it is with some of this stuff. I've got a power supply about 80% built, and that's on the to-do list, hopefully later this summer. Get that done and maybe get 1 or 2 here on the air, actually on the air and usable. You know, Jerry, very good on your comments about the ionosphere and contests and stuff. Maybe if we all got on the air at the same time, we could create quite a light show up in the ionosphere. Pretty cool. And I'm also a big fan of Bob Dennison. In fact, he's the one that, he and one other fellow, NER are the ones that kind of got me into building a whole bunch of regenerative receivers that work amazingly well. I don't know if I'm going to build any more. I kind of did that one to death, but it sure was fun building those things based on some of their designs and improving on them in some cases. So I think that'll be it for me today, guys. Signals are really going down, so we'll see you all next weekend. 73. Over to Henry, WA7YBS, W6SSP.
Okay, Steve. W6SSP, WA7YBS. Okay, yeah, Steve was down quite a bit, but still Q5. Signals were so good at the beginning of the net that they could stand a little bit of reduction and still be, Q5. So, and that's the main thing. But yeah, I didn't notice it in Mike, but Bob and Steve were down noticeably. So anyway, we won't hold it too long because we're only running 110 or so watts a carrier. And like I said, I need to get that antenna up out in the shop so I can run the T3. Usually do that in the summer. As Jeff, ZBX says there, I like to make my own propagation. On the Jerry there mentioning the using the RF to affect the ionosphere. Isn't that how HARP works? that system they got up that heats the ionosphere for better propagation. And so, yeah, something to that. Hey, if the military's doing it, it must work. They're not running that much power, theoretically, on HARP. I think it's 10,000 watts or something like that, directed, towards the ionosphere. But at any rate, that's what they tell you. You never know. We'll say 73. Oh, and Mike, yeah, I do have the schematics, and I have a lot of John's notes and stuff like that. So I have enough, but it's nothing like the documentation that I got with the 1625 rig, which was absolutely complete and like a professional manual. This is more like notes and halfway through of doing schematics and things like that. So there's enough there, but no procedures in tuning up. So I got to work out all the bias voltages and what the resulting current will be showing. But generally on a 4-250A, you're going to have about 10 milliamps of grid current for drive. So that's pretty much standard stuff, I think. But we'll find out. But yeah, the audio, it was funny because the first thing that I guess John crossed off the list was that stay level, or it was a Volmax stay level, and I guess audiophiles love that stuff. So gone, and of course anything that says Macintosh, gone. But there you go. I have an ICO Williamson Ultralinear, which I'm sure will drive that thing just fine. 73, and everybody have a good week coming up. Over to Jerry, W6GRY, WA7YBS.
Okay, Henry, thank you. WA7YBS and the group W6JRY. Okay, still copy on everybody, but yes, the QSB is getting tougher and tougher. And, Steve, we'll have to compare notes on regens that we built from Bob Dennison's ER project writings and projects there and so on. That'll be interesting because some of the best ones I've put together here come from some of his ideas, and a lot of fun. I was really a big regen fan. Still am, kind of. In fact, the last project that Lee and I have done here is a regen. So anyway, let's see what else here. Mike, we didn't get to talk about gardens. There's one in here. Our big problem is just, it looks real good, but nothing's happening. We have no bees here for some reason. We're not getting any pollination here. Things should be better here than what you have, but I bet you're probably getting ripe tomatoes already. But doesn't seem right, because there's a big difference in altitude between you and us here. 2,400 feet against, I don't know what you're at, but it must be 4,000 feet or whatever, I don't know what. Anyway, 73s to all, and good nap. Thanks, Chuck, and we'll send it down there to Bill, and I think he's the last one on the list here. So everybody have a good rest of the day. Bob, yes, the ER trip was related to what we discussed, so something may happen down the line on that. Anyway, 73s to all, and over to you, Bill, if you can still hear us there. N6BCT in the group, W6JRY. We'll say 73s, but we'll be listening.
Yeah, that's 5,200 feet, W7MS.
Turn it back to you there, Chuck.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. Yeah, I had him, and then he faded out on me at the last. I lost him. So I guess we ended the net just in time. But let's see, just a couple quick notes. Jerry, you take care of yourself, and say hi to Sharon for us. and have a good day and a good week ahead. And Mike, the new on-air rig sounds really, really good. Congratulations on the acquisition and on-air debut. I would take it as being the debut anyway of the Mackie transceiver. So that's pretty neat, and you got a powerful signal with that thing over here, and another weapon in Mr. Student's arsenal of electronic radio gear. So good job, Mike. Okay, guys, 7-3s, and we'll talk to you guys next weekend. Henry will be net control. So with that, I'll secure the Vintage Military Radio Net for today. I'd like to thank everybody for their participation and welcome everybody back next week. So we'll turn the frequency back over to regular amateur use. So this is K0DWC signing off. 7-3, guys. Thanks again.